On my mind, body, and my soul, I'm trying to get control. I gotta hit the goals. Time's not in your control. I gotta make the most of the time slots before we end up in a pine box. Y'all could be suckers, but I'm not. Your soul is for sale, but mine not. Nah, fuck how these niggas feel. I'm trying to get a meal. Cops trying to get a kill. Man, lopsided is the feel. Stop trying to get the real, cause y'all just some GMO niggas to do. And I don't want my daughter to have to compete against a male. So yeah. All right. So next topic, man. We'll get into Charles Barkley and Shaq. They had a heated argument over Chris Paul being an MVP candidate, and it was Chris Paul. Well, I'm gonna just play it for y'all, and then we'll get y'all's thoughts on it.
This team is for real, Shaq. This field.
Y'all hear that?
Listen, Chris Paul is having a great year. You know, he does have the youngsters playing. He's leading them very well. They're playing well. Devin Booker is starting to get his form back. But I disagree. He should not be mentioned for MVP. He's having a good year. I don't think he should be mentioned because if you don't have a chance to win, shouldn't be mentioned.
What do you mean don't have a chance to win?
You don't have a chance to win MVP. Stop it.
Well, that's not true.
He does not have a chance to win.
Well, you know what? Your comment is making people hate.
Yes, he does not have a chance to win.
Because if you say that he doesn't have a chance, he's not an MVP candidate, now it seems like you're hating. But he's having a great year.
And the team is having a great year.
I said he's having a great
but
year.
you're talking about what the Joker and what
Yeah, with Embiid, come on.
I mean,
LeBron,
They got a better record than those guys you mentioned.
But they just had a guy on his. But the Joker doesn't have guys that on multiple nights going to get 30.
You were just sitting here bragging all last year about my boy Jamal Murray in the bubble.
No, I'm saying that Chris Paul is having a great year, but you're making us feel like we're hating if we don't.
If we don't feel like he should be the
There's a difference
MVP.
between
I don't understand. If a guy traded for a guy on the last place team, and
they weren't last place last.
They did not even make the playoffs last year.
They weren't. You said last place.
Well, they didn't make the playoffs. They were awful.
And then they went 8-0 in the bubble.
But that don't matter. They still didn't make the playoffs.
Okay.
And if a team made a trade in the offseason and they went from last place to first place, why would we not mention that guy for MVP? That's a very fair question.
I think that he
just answer the question.
I think that he's a key ingredient. But MVP would, to me, and now you feel like we're hating, but an MVP would mean that he is so dominant by himself.
No, that's not what the
Embiid.
It ain't got nothing to do with team. Stop it.
Of course, it got something to do with team.
His dominance.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Outweighs
Okay, that's all. What is he doing different than what Steve Nash did?
Listen to this part.
Steve Nash.
That's a good question.
As a matter of fact, as Underdog
That's a
points
great
out,
question.
Steve Nash was averaging fewer points per game than Chris Paul was.
That's and that's I just thought about that on my feet.
In
Well, what's the
04,
difference?
05.
Well, now you're going to get Shaq on your side.
No, but Shaq. First of all, Shaq said the team. No, Shaq had just said. First of all, he's 100% wrong. He said the team doesn't matter. The team does matter.
The team matters.
And my only point is, we talk about all these other guys who are playing great. I'm not gonna hate on the Joker. I'm not gonna hate on Embiid. I'm not gonna hate on LeBron.
But you think he's doing the same things that?
Yeah, but if you got two
Yes,
guys,
I think you do.
but you
I'm not
got you got two guys, for example, Joel Embiid and Joker that are putting up great numbers. You can't say, okay, because this guy has a better record, he should get the MVP. No.
Why can't you?
I will say this.
All right.
I understand.
Jack, when Steve Nash won MVP, he wasn't better than you. He wasn't better than Kobe, but they had a better regular season. And all I'm saying is, hey, I told
Okay,
you,
It
so
should be
you
in
know
the
what?
conversation.
So you
it
know
should
what?
be in the conversation.
In the
And let me
conversation.
tell you something.
Change the award to most valuable team, then don't say most valuable
not-
player.
No,
Most valuable player is singular.
no, it's not.
This is
No, it's not.
player is singular.
No, it's not single.
Player is singular.
No, it's not.
Player is singular. Player is plural. Stop it. Stop it.
One
Player
of the
is singular.
definitions is most valuable to his team. Okay?
What's that?
Most valuable to his team.
Well, I say most valuable players, most valuable players.
Okay, most valuable to his team, but it has nothing to do with
But
record.
that is also a factor. Most valuable. You look at a team's success and who's most valuable.
Well,
League,
because this is
not
why I
team
hate this
success.
stupid argument every year. It's not who the best player. Listen, Michael Jordan was the best player probably 3 years before he even got in the MVP conversation, because his team wasn't any good. So he was already the best player at least 3 years, if I remember correctly. And listen, I ain't never gonna hate on Steve Nash, But he wasn't better than Shaq and Kobe. But they had a better regular
We
season.
agree. However,
Change of the most
I
valuable
always
team,
feel that your team success and your dominance in areas. Okay, Steve Nash was an anomaly. It's not normal.
What about Derrick Rose?
Derrick Rose was dominating the NBA. Derrick Rose dominated that year. He was the best player for sure. He was not only the MVP.
That's
he
what
was
I
the
always
best
thought.
player
It
to
meant,
be
the best player in the league.
It's not the best player in the
I
league.
said that's what
It's
I always
never
thought.
been the
He
best
was
player.
to
in the
me,
league.
Derrick Rose the year he won.
No,
was
I'm
also
saying
the
it's
best
never
player.
been the best. When Magic and Bird were going back and forth, it's whoever had the best regular season. It wasn't who had the best, who was the
Okay.
best player.
Steve Nash, I would say
Mm.
the best year I've seen Chris Paul have at this late in his career. He deserves to be later in the conversation, but the conversation to me is Joel Embiid and Joker.
Listen, if the Phoenix Suns finish with
And
the best,
Denver.
No
if they
James
finish with
Harden?
the best
And
record,
LeBron.
I'm
And
just saying
Harden.
this.
Yep.
If the
Damn,
Phoenix Suns
yeah,
finish
James
with the
Harden
best
like
record in
six.
the West, which is tougher than the East,
Okay, you think
Right.
it should be okay?
right? That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Look,
All right. That was it, man. That was a lot, man. So that was funny watching y'all's reactions too, because I know Deuce and Earl, y'all heard that for the first time. That's funny. Yo, so all right.
That was good.
All right, so let's talk about it, man. I wanted to let the whole thing play so that we could discuss. I wanted to discuss everything about that. First of all, let me start off with one question. Is Chris Paul an MVP candidate?
No.
I
You
think
want a
no.
simple yes or
No,
no?
too. Yes or no, please, just for right now.
No.
I'm gonna get your whole take in a second.
No.
No. All right. What's up, Earl? Yes or no?
No.
All right. All right. So we don't have to disagree on that at all. But so and then, but they're number 2 in the West. And so all right, so let me just start off with I'll start off with my take. First of all, I hate the MVP of the NBA. It's like a terrible award. It never had an actual criteria. They've never given us a real criteria for the MVP. It changes every year. When Nash won it those 2 years, no, I of course I didn't think he should have won it. Either of the years. Yes, they had a great record, but the team was great. And that was the start of the inflated Mike D'Antoni regular season era. And I wasn't impressed by all those regular season wins. And then they was down 3-1 to Kobe and all them damn bums, in the first round. So I just never liked the MVP, man. And I'm a Kobe fan too, so call me biased. I know it's a lot of y'all that watch me. Salute to y'all. Yeah, I know I'm a Kobe fan. So call me biased, but this is the truth. Unbiasedly, Kobe should have won more than one MVP. I think everybody knows that. But he didn't. He won one MVP, and he was like 4th and 5th and 3rd on a lot of these years when he was killing the entire league and was clearly the best player in the league. And yeah, Jordan won, like Charles said, 3 years before he was the best player in the league, and then he still didn't win no MVP because they was trash. But they was different kind of trash then. They was trash. Like they was 10 games under 500 and only making the playoffs because the leagues would not have a lot of talent back then. So nowadays, Russell Westbrook, he won the MVP at the 8th seed. He was the 8th seed on OKC, but because he averaged a triple-double, everybody went crazy and he wins the MVP. And I don't disagree with his MVP, but I don't agree with a lot of the MVP. So, like I said, half the years, if you ask me, it should be best player every year. Best player. It should not matter if you're on the best team or not, or none of that. That is not about that. It's most valuable player. So what is the value? Who said it was the value into the team? That's what Ernie just said. I've never heard anybody say it's how valuable you are to your team. No, because it's how valuable you are to the team that has the best record in the regular season, according to these biased ass. But long story short, you're never going to get real MVP votes because look who you got voting for it. You have sports writers. These are dudes that they went to college, but they don't have to play any sport. They don't have to play basketball. They don't have to do nothing. So you got a bunch of dudes that have probably no athleticism, no experience, no game, no swagger, no nothing, and they get to give the opinions on the pros of the world, the best athletes in the world. Their opinions are what is gathered to say who is the most valuable in the league. So, but players don't speak out against the award. So, my opinion doesn't go far when it comes to this because I've been saying this for a long time. But people are gonna just disagree. But I don't like it because yes, if you go by the normal criteria, Chris Paul has to be an MVP candidate. They're number 2 in the West, over the Lakers, over the Clippers, in the Jazz are in front of them. And hello, Donovan Mitchell should be a MVP candidate. If we talking about y'all's criteria and what they normally say a MVP is. But of course, we're not gonna say nothing. They didn't even mention Donovan Mitchell. No one said anything about Donovan Mitchell, but they're number 1 in the West. No one mentioned him. No one mentioned Gobert. Obviously, we wouldn't mention him. But why aren't you mentioning somebody on the best team? Why aren't you getting the best player from the best team this time? It's because nobody on Utah fits y'all's narrative and who y'all want to paint as the MVP this year, in my opinion. So I ain't gonna be long with it forever, man. Go ahead and get into it, man. Whoever want to talk about it, let's go.
Go ahead, dude. No, I agree with that. He is having a hell of a year, but I mean, I challenge anybody, give me your top 3 MVPs with Chris Paul in it. I would like to hear who you put over him. I mean, who, and the other thing is Charles Barkley, when he won MVP, he wasn't the best player in the NBA.
Right.
Facts.
Right.
They had a good year. I mean, they were they lost like 20 games. But we couldn't say he's the best player in the NBA that year.
They just had a great team.
If you say Michael Jordan's the best player, he was playing during that time, but he didn't win MVP in '93 or whatever year that was. But Chris Paul's playing well, but he's definitely not the most valuable player. And with the whole COVID thing and the pandemic, players not playing, players playing, that has a lot to do with what's going on. And that's not to take anything away from Chris Paul and the Suns, but I can't put him over guys that I know that are more valuable than Chris Paul.
To their team.
To their team.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
Yeah, that's my take. I would say no, but salute to Chris Paul for having a heck of a year. I mean, he caught an oop in the All-Star, a barely oop. It had a nice little bounce, but he caught it.
It was nice. Hey, that was my favorite part of the All-Star game, watching the point guards catching oops. That was just a fun part of the watching game. Other than that,
his skill challenge sucked, though. He's the worst skill challenge player ever.
Bro, this nigga missing layups wide open. Come on, CP.
Right. Like I don't like how they try to treat his narrative as like he's the old man that's coming back out. He's coming for like an MVP race. They treat it as he's chasing that though. But he's not chasing that.
He's playing good, bro.
He's just playing good. Yeah. He's just playing well. He's leading.
Yeah, they like the OD and painting it. It's this WWE era that we in. Everything is a narrative, man. Oh,
well,
we gotta make this. Yeah, go ahead.
Would you say he's the best player on that team?
No, Devin Booker.
Right. Yeah, so he's not the most valuable best player. How are you the best player in the league?
I'm saying, but this is the era that we in. Like they calling this guy the best when this guy is clearly better than him and stuff. Like I don't calling losing, winning, losing, and the stuff. Go ahead.
Charles Barkley is saying that because of the record, he should be the whatever, the MVP because of their record, right?
Yeah.
Nah, I'm not gonna say he should be the MVP. Because he's not even the best guy on his team. But I will say, Chris Paul is a valuable piece for any team. He made Oklahoma City better. He's making Phoenix better. But I won't give him the MVP of that.
Right.
Yeah. In my opinion, man, I don't. In my opinion, the MVP race is still Embiid, Joker. You're probably gonna throw LeBron in there. You're probably gonna throw Dame in there, Luka. Then you probably gonna have Steph is probably going to be in there if they make the playoffs.
You don't got no respect for
you got Giannis, Harden, Kawhi, Donovan Mitchell will probably be somewhere in there too.
Zach?
Nah.
That's a lot of people before after Chris Paul, man.
Yeah, man. Chris Paul.
You named a lot of great players just now.
Zach LaVine.
Right, exactly. And I'm gonna just say this: if KD wasn't resting, he would be MVP.
Yeah,
But
that's a fact.
he's
But
resting.
he don't need no MVP, bro. He need to rest that Achilles and just chill until the playoffs, bro.
It's a smart business move. I would rest him, but KD was
too.
looking like the MVP before he left out.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I say you got to. All right, so we talking MVPs real quick. I say James Harden got to be mentioned in the top 3. Joel Embiid, he was playing great, but since in the last 10 games, he's looking like trash. Or not, I wouldn't say 10, maybe like 8 games, but he's been looking pretty trash for a good amount of time. And then he finally got hurt again, like I predicted earlier this year, like I always do.
Well, see, he didn't get hurt last year. That was Ben Simmons.
You're right. You're right. That was the one year he
That's what I'm
finally made it
saying.
through. You're right.
They got to
But
be
yeah,
healthy.
every year
It's
of his
one of
career,
them.
starting the first year,
Yeah.
he's out for a long time, and now he has a bone bruise. So we'll see how long that lasts. It already said 2 to 3 weeks. Everything I was reading on the bone bruise. So this guy, I'm telling you, man, I just think he gets in shape before the season. He always gets ready before the summer, during the summer, and then halfway through the season, he's always hurt because maybe he like fast food like Shaq. Maybe he eating Whoppers and stuff like that.
He got a bad eating habit.
Yeah, because he just he be hurt all the time, man. So yeah, I say Joel, Joker, but I just don't like it. If you're talking about MVP with me, they need to change the name of it or change the criteria and call it best player of the year or whatever. Or and then we could say most valuable player for that team guy who was the best player on the most wins team. And we don't give anything for the best playoffs. That's goofy. Why are we not giving a reward for who has the best playoffs of anybody? But we giving a regular season award, which are meaningless games. To me, that's got bottom line written on it, and it's just all about let's keep selling people to go to these games like they matter, when really and truly they need to shorten the regular season and just get to the real shit. So yeah, let's leave it there, man. Earl, did you get your you want to say something else? Or you done?
Oh yeah, I'm good. I'm good on that.
All right.
Don't hit my line, I can't do a solid. Swear to God, I'ma win, I'm the newest Khaled. Shit should be different when you the talent. Change your perspective, accrue the balance. I'm just a legend, can't do the malice. I manifested me to a balance. My body and my soul. I'm trying to get control. I gotta hit the goals. Time's not in your control. I gotta make the most of the time slots before we end up in the pine box. Y'all could be suckers, but I'm not. Your soda's for sale, but mine not. Yeah.
Got it, got it, got it.